why it's really important to have a plan and understand what your goals are.
In fact, my camel out there is suffering right now with a broken back.
So I actually found Pepe when it was only a couple of hours old, and I'm like, oh, this is a funny meme.
Oh my god.
Yo! Who is this degen?
The old man is swing trading over years at a time. And it's like, that's where the real money is made.
The answer is a permanent loss. With single-sided staking, you don't have to worry about a permanent loss.
But really, at the end of the day, it's just the matter of a macro market. It's just what happens.
If you're aware, if you're disciplined, you can hone that into further financial growth.
Financial freedom, so we can actually live life and not have to be constantly living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, more or less, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto degenerates, ducks and squirrels, welcome to this 113th episode of the Degen Roundtable Sunday News Show. I'm going to be your host tonight. My name is Will Stevenson. I'm a tower worker that goes around the United States knocking over towers and things. And I'm joined by the fantastic Brendan, the Anonymous Bean. Brendan is the Degen Roundtable's macroeconomics and oh man, there was another one. Fuck, I need to write this down because I keep forgetting it every fucking time. But Brendan is our macroeconomic specialist, as well as like understanding a whole lot of what goes on up at the government level and paying attention to the big money news stuffs and things. So welcome, folks. We're gonna have an awesome night tonight. We're covering some pretty fucking big news. For those of you guys that are not aware, the president of Venezuela was seized by the United States military. I think it was on Saturday morning or something like that. So it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy. So for those of you guys that live under a rock and are totally unaware of that, that's what happened, and we're going to talk about it along with some other things. But that's what we got going on tonight. So welcome, Mr. Brendan Broski. What's new and exciting with you? How are you doing, man?
Well, Mr. Stevenson, I am doing great. It is a good start to 2026. Was with my wife and her family. A couple of our parents visiting from Colombia today. We hit some wineries, and yeah, it was a good day. I am currently sipping on a little bit of the Irish whiskey. Should I do the show in an Irish accent? I can't do an Irish accent, so I can't do that. But if I could, maybe I would. By the way, Labatt Blue, underrated beer that you can find in northern parts of the United States that touch Canada. So you must be somewhere close to Canada.
Yes, I'm actually in New Hampshire. I'm about 10 or 20 minutes away from the border of Canada, up in the little tiny town of Colebrook, where my house is, that I come and visit periodically. I had some free time and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go see how Casa Will is doing. So Casa Will is doing very well. Everything's hunky dory over here. This is my little home away from home, my living room and kitchen and fireplace Auroran.
I love that.
And some meat pie, which is totally a thing up here in the Northeast. I don't know if they make meat pies anywhere else in the States, but it's cool. So I love going up to the Northeast so I can have my Labatt Blue. By the way, the stream is not brought to you by Labatt Blue, the pristine Pilsner, I might add. They are quite good though, and I always enjoy when I'm up in the Northeast and I get to drink me some Labatts, because it's like you can't get them anywhere else in the States. So it's a good time.
Upstate New York, that's the place you can find them the most. Buffalo, because obviously it's right over the border. But yeah, they're delicious. Before I went gluten free, Labatt Blue. I had a summer of just drinking Labatt Blue, and I was happy. With the Labatts. Now, good sir, it doesn't look like your Labatt Blue has a top to it.
You're right. I'm drinking topless today, boys, because I have a fantastic draft top opener. Another thing that the show is not brought to you by is the draft top bottle opener. These things are fucking sick. You just take them, you put them on the top of the can that you're drinking, and then it cuts the can right open, and you could just fucking pop the top right off without ever opening it. So you can drink your cans like they're a glass, and it's super cool because it allows you to smell and have the full-bodied taste, and you don't have to do with that glug 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 and other such things when you're drinking out of a can. And it does that that intermittent liquid flow and things. So it's nice and perfect and beautiful. So I've got me a draft top. I've got my Magnus Fabrication sticker on it. And by the way, I see a gentleman in the chats, and I owe you one of these fantastic draft tops, sir, because I gave him one of the original ones when they first came out, and it does not work very well at all. And he's been like, "Yo, bro, this thing fucking sucks. Why'd you give it to me?" But anyways, is it time for chat shoutouts, Mr. Brennan, or did you have a further thought on things Labatt Blue oriented?
I did have one last thought. You're drinking beer in its natural state because the top is the last thing that's added to a can.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there we go. So this is the way that Jesus intended beers to be drank, is in the can without the top on. So there you go. Mm-hmm.
But I am drinking a little Irish whiskey, by the way, that I blended myself.
Ooh. Tullamore Dew.
So Tullamore Dew,
Oh,
when I
man.
went to the factory, I was able to.
It thinks you're not real.
I could just take this off. You know why? Because who needs it? I don't need it. Nobody needs it.
Fucking A right. Ain't nobody needs the background craziness. Look at that.
Has my
Blended
name
by
and my
Brendan.
batch number. By the way, if you want the best whiskey, best Irish whiskey you've ever had, you just take that batch number and you go to Tullamore Dew Distillery and you type that number in and you get yourself my own personal blend. Cheers.
They make it Brendan style. Cheers to you, amigo, and cheers to all the folks at home. I see you guys are stacking in there. This is going to be a great one. Probably a quicker show because both myself and Brendan were suffering from not a whole lot of sleep last night. I got into New Hampshire about 3 a.m. So, and I had to I had to walk up my driveway in about 8 inches of snow because my truck couldn't make it. And there was a tractor parked in my neighbor's house where I have an easement. He had a tractor parked there, and I was like, I'm not about to wake his ass up at 3 a.m. So I'm just gonna walk up to my house. So I walked up the damn hill, probably there was like a 5-minute walk up the hill to get to my house through the snow, dragging my poor mama dog wherever she's at on her leash. But yeah, it was
but it's been a long week, holidays, New Year's Eve, and I don't know about you, but the news that broke yesterday, it's been the talk of the town, so I'm excited to dice it up.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the chat shoutouts, and we'll jump right into the news. Ladies and germs, it's time for the best part of the show. It's time for the chat motherfucking shoutouts. Raise a glass, grab a beer, and kick some rear. It's time for us to talk to you just as much as you talk to us, starting with everyone's favorite Marcus72, who says, "What's up, all? What's up, Marcus? Good to see you, broski." Marcus was one of the winners of the DGen Roundtable sticker giveaway, so it's good to see you, amigo. And yes, indeed, it sounds like the perfect place to smoke a pipe. This would be a good spot to smoke a pipe. And I have an ozone machine, so I could just you smoke it, and then you run the ozone machine, and then bam, there's no more smell anymore. So for when guests come over and things, if you guys ever, I know that we talked about it like a stream or two ago, if you ever want to clear your house of all the smells and things, the ozone or the Febreze, as Brendan was saying, is the way to do it. We're also joined by Mr. Slide 180, my good buddy Josh, who I did give one of the original draft top lid cutter things. And he says, yes, the OG can cutter sucks, but thanks though. Yes, the OG can cutter, it was a little bit different than this one. This one has a blade in the lever all in one piece. And in the other one, it had a lever for the blade, and then it had a separate lever that would put a lip catcher so that it would catch onto the lid on the opposite side. And it was just kind of a pain in the ass. And it really takes a long time to cut one of these doing them well. But with the new ones, it's like, oh shit, this stuff goes like butter. So I'll bring you a better one, Josh, and it'll be awesome. Then we can drink our whatever the heck. I can't remember. I know you like Coors Lights and other such things, but yeah, most excellent. Other folks that have joined us tonight, we've got Mr. Dace Northall. For some reason, YouTube is showing up. Man, YouTube needs to fix their fucking shit and start showing actual names instead of comment links and things. But this is Dace Northall, and he says, I don't drink beer, but I've got a couple of Will's topless cans of beer with hand tools organized into them on my inventory racks. Yes, absolutely. I was helping Dace. I was doing some work with Dace for a while, and I was showing him the awesomeness that because you can use these cans as little containers afterwards. You know how some people use a peanut butter jar as a container for their screws and bolts and things. I had a whole bunch of these left over from when I was hanging out with Dace. And so we used them to hold like sound equipment and other such things. So that's really cool, and it's chilling in his inventory rack. So fucking A right. Good to see you, broski. We're also joined by Miss Tam the Hexagon, who says, hello, my lovelies. Hello to you too, Tam. Good to see you. Pulse Chain and Hexaco's #1 cheerleader and marketer. I think that Tam has the biggest outreach out of anyone in Pulse Chain. And then we've also got Hexagon Lost in Asia, who says, checking in with the 07 salute. Good to see you, broski. Welcome. I know that, man, I think that like once this bull market hits, once we finally get some fucking cashola from all of our hard held diamond hands, it would be super cool to come and visit good old Southeast Asia and go see what's up over there. But yep. And then a final comment from Mr. Dace. Programming an AV system while I watch. Otherwise, I'd be on with you. Love you, boys. Good to see. Hey, fucking do the things you got to do, bro. Some of us got to make money. I'm over here burning money up in my house. And so I have like a limit that I'll go in my bank account. And once I hit that limit, then it's time to run away from the house and go do other productive things. So I'm on vacation till I run out of money. I
will say that the holiday season is an expensive season. So I have been also spending what I feel like is far too much money in the last month. And, I am blessed that the Lord has provided us with good salaries and a good amount of income, even outside of what happens with crypto. So I can wait it out. And, that's why people are told, don't put more in than you can lose, because it might go down for 5 years. Altcoins might go down for 5 years, and you might not anticipate that. And you might expect to have been rich by now. And guess what? If you put in more than you could afford to lose, then you might have had to sell at a loss. And nobody likes to do that. So I still believe. I also want to have a little tangent here. Will, those houses that you see that are like brick, but they're only brick in the front, and it's like fake brick, and then it's siding all around the rest of the house?
Yes.
There's a complex across from me that has all those types of houses, and I absolutely hate them more than anything. It reminds me of the movie Elf. If anyone's seen Elf, it's like, you sit on a throne of lies. You're not a real brick house.
That's funny.
I literally hate them more than anything.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe coffee or olives. Or the
You said
Yankees.
Coffee?
Yeah. Or olives or the Yankees. But other than that, yeah, one of the things I hate the most.
Wow. I did not know you hated coffee or olives.
Yeah, it's sad.
I mean, the Yankees make sense. You're a Bostonian by birth, so that one checks out. But olives and also coffee. This is good to know. So no coffee around Brendan. Do you drink tea instead?
I drink a spot of tea once in a while. Yeah.
A spot of tea.
I will say though, if I'm in Ireland, I may or may not be okay with a proper Irish coffee.
Okay, excellent. The alcoholic ones are a little bit more fun than the.
Well, especially in Ireland, because they have the real Irish cream, which doesn't mix into the coffee and the whiskey. It sits on top, almost like a whipped cream, because they have much higher fat content. And so you really can't get a real Irish coffee in the United States outside of like a handful of bars. Okay. One being California that bought the original recipe.
Okay, this is good to know. Excellent. So Brendan hates fake brick houses and olives and the Yankees and coffee. This is hilarious. So what brought up the brick houses siding thing? What brings that to your mind?
Oh, it's just been bothering me all day. That's all.
Oh man. It's funny that you mentioned that, because my house is all siding except for the porch, where it has brick paneling. It's not actual like bricks, but they look like bricks, and they are pieces of whatever, like that clayish, brickish, whatever stuff brick is made of. Yeah, it's thin brick, but it hangs and overlaps itself, kind of like asphalt shingles.
Yep.
So that's it's
but I don't
not
mind
brick.
That's an accent. It's not pretending to be a fake brick house.
Yeah, that's funny. It's funny that bothers you. Me and Sam were talking about houses earlier today on the phone, speaking about like how old wood log cabins retain heat way better than modern houses, just because there's so much thermal mass when you heat the inside of the house. Yep, the wood absorbs and soaks into heat and then releases it over like 6 hours. So you only have to light a fire like twice a day.
It's fantastic.
But super expensive.
Good comment, yeah.
Yep. But anyways, enough about me. Enough about houses and things and whatnot. Let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of the show. So
Can I ask you a question before we get into the most important topic? Because I feel like people are going to want. This is a crypto topic.
Okay.
This was a question I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
You know, I was talking to someone today. I was at a winery, and they're talking to this gentleman from Russia, and he is he's a portfolio manager for a private investment equity company for people that want to invest. You know, I was asking, hey, what do you think about 2026? You know, what do you think of the market? I don't want to act like I know anything, because I really don't. But I was asking him his thoughts and asking about what he does for investments for his clients, and then I asked him about digital assets. And, he said to me, the only thing that makes Bitcoin popular is its scarcity. And so I wanted to ask you a question. Is the only reason that Bitcoin is popular is its scarcity? And obviously that's something that a lot of us talk about. Like one of the benefits of Bitcoin is, it has 21 million, right? It has a cap of how much Bitcoin, and its inflation every 4 years gets cut in half, right? And so it becomes less and less easy to procure. Is Bitcoin's only benefit is that it's scarce?
Nope. That's an oversimplified. That's an oversimplified boogeyman kind of explanation by someone who doesn't really know what he's talking about, but like is giving some sort of answer. Which like I don't want to pass judgment on him, but I will say that it is a not well informed opinion. It could be the only information that he has about Bitcoin, but I would say that his thesis is incorrect, because it's like there's a lot of things that are scarce in this world. Like if I piss in the snow and I write like a letter with the snow piss, and then I freeze it, then it's like, this is the only one of these things that exists. It's very scarce. It can't be recreated because this is a one-time chemical compound, whatever the hell of whatever I've processed, and this shape can only ever be created once, just like a snowflake, So, like, is that the perfect analogy? No, but there's plenty of things in the world that are scarce that are not valuable. Bitcoin is valuable because of a whole bunch of different reasons. Scarcity is one of them. Scarcity is one of the biggest things that people like to talk about with it, but it's a whole bunch of things. And I think that the scarcity is more of a it does not inflate like the US dollar kind of deal. It's a predictable distribution and issuance kind of thing, whereas other currencies, it's like, oh, if the government decides like today's the day that we're doing quantitative easing, or not even the government, but like the Fed or the aliens or the whoever, the people with small hats that run the financial system, whatever the things are that makes the money get printed, it's basically just someone's thoughts and feelings. Whereas Bitcoin, it's like, oh, there's going to be this much of it at this time at this place. So it's like you can work well with a system that has good rules and follows expectations and things, more so than you can work with a system that just kind of does whatever the fuck it wants, whenever it wants, for reasons that change all the time. So all that to say, I think that Homie is a little bit oversimplifying and doesn't quite understand everything that he's talking about. What do you think?
So I think that is a good take. It's interesting. So first, I'm gonna ask I'm gonna mention something. It's interesting that anyone would trust their money with someone that doesn't actually go out and learn every opportunity to invest your money in. Right? Yeah. It's like we see this in TradFi all the time. It's like they have this preconceived notion of what Bitcoin or what cryptocurrency is, but they actually don't delve deep enough to learn the truth about, hey, is this a worthwhile investment for my clients? Is this something that I should really be taking seriously? Or am I just going to repeat what I hear in like my inner TradFi circles? I'm going to repeat what I hear on the news. I'm going to repeat what I hear on the internet, but I'm not going to actually have any real opinion. Now, in addition to that, I would say that you've kind of already said it, but scarcity doesn't matter if nothing has value. If someone doesn't give it value, then scarcity means nothing. Scarce, something that is worth nothing and it's scarce is still worth nothing. So that means that just in general, something is going to have more value if someone perceives it to have value. All right, what do we got here?
There's just a very similar comment from Mr. Moondog, who says Bitcoin was more scarce years ago and less valuable. Scarcity helped price action, but Bitcoin is popular because of price action, which is the end of the day for today, with a little justice and a pirate flag and an up arrow.
So I think that what most of traditional finance and the general public are missing when it comes to, we'll just say Bitcoin right now, but cryptocurrency in general, is that it gives you the opportunity to be self-sovereign, right? It gives you the opportunity to have security and self-custody of your own goods. The government, maybe now with ETFs and whatever, they can buy and adjust the price a little bit, but they can't definitively say what Bitcoin costs. With the US dollar, they can definitively say what it costs based on how much they print and how much inflation that they create through zero reserve banking and through Fed monetary policy. So you're able to own something that isn't controlled by a central entity, a government or a bank or a banking system, whatever the case may be. So I think that is something that, look, maybe if you're in traditional finance, you don't care about because you have what you want to consider tangible assets. But tangible is no good if someone else really decides what their price is. You also look at adoption. I think Bitcoin is being adopted faster than many other monetary systems in the history of the world. What was the US dollar worth, at the creation of the United States, and how long did it take for that US dollar to actually be worth, the premier currency of the world, right? Like a long time. So I'm just, picking against one thing. So those are important, but also I think that everything moving to a digital sphere, being able to take it with you, being able to move it quickly, being able to transact for what we would call, a low cost. And again, cutting out intermediaries. Part of the problem with a lot of cryptocurrencies are now they actually run by intermediaries or run by centralized exchanges. And so finding cryptocurrencies that are able to work in a truly decentralized manner, what Bitcoin I feel was created to do, might be far superior in the future. And so I would personally want to find, not just learn about Bitcoin from these people that are traditional finance, but really find out like what is the future, what is cryptocurrency in the long run, because a lot of people wrote off the internet, right? We talk about this all the time. They wrote off the internet. They wrote off, the ability to read news on a website, and they thought that was going to be a fad and that the internet was going to collapse. And, it's so easy to discredit technologies because we don't understand them and we haven't had them in the past. And we're so what gives us comfort is clinging to things that we know. And so in reality, if you want to grow, you have to get out of your comfort zone. And so
yes,
I like the people that listen to our show. They're out of their comfort zone. They're learning new things. But there's going to be something in the future that isn't crypto. And you and I are going to have to get out of our comfort zone when we're 60 years old or 80 years old to learn about said thing. Maybe we won't, because maybe, we'll be bajillionaires by then. But the point is, if you want to grow, you have to get out of your comfort zone, and you have to be open to what's, cutting edge and moving us toward the future.
I was having a discussion with my mom yesterday about growth, and like even the oldest trees in the forest are still growing until the day that they die, like until the day that they stop growing, and that's when they start the dying process. And it's like you got to keep growing no matter how old you are, no matter what you're doing. And it's only when you stop learning, when you stop like adapting and changing to new things and making yourself better and making the world better, that you start to dwindle out and stuff. And I also noticed, as you were listing off the things that Bitcoin is, it's like not just the scarcity, but like you were mentioning, the fungibility, the liquidity, the sovereignty. What were the other aspects about Bitcoin that people like to use? Is there like just in a word, like is there little campfire stories? Those are some of them.
Self-custody, security, decentralization, ability to move your money around and take it with you easily.
Transportability, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And also, I remember you were talking about like this dude that had brought this whole thing up. He was in the TradFi space and he wasn't learning, and it made me think of like, man, I know there's TradFi people in Pulse Chain, and I was like, oh shit, C3 Bill, C3 Works, you know, the guys who did the actuator protocol, they're like heavily in the TradFi system, and they know and they understand it, and they've taken it and they've adapted their own business models and the things that they do to fit into the DeFi world and to fit inside the blockchain space. And it's like you've got the guys that don't change, that don't know anything about what they're talking about, that sing like these fake little stories about why things are scary and whatnot. And then you got the guys that adapt, that go and make really cool products. And like now we have the actuator protocol thanks to Bill and oh man, I can't remember the other guys, but I remember Bill. So you know, the C3 Works
Axis.
and all the, oh yeah, Axis. Yeah, Axis has other things that he does as well. There's all sorts of there's all sorts of dudes in the TradFi space that take their skills and move it over into the
ones that
DeFi
want to
world,
continue to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say on your comments about trees, you know, there are a lot of creatures that actually never stop growing.
Like
a lot
lobsters,
of
I think.
lobsters, very good
Yeah.
lobsters, but a lot of mammals, a lot of fish, amphibians, reptiles, crocodiles, for example, turtles. So generally, the larger the crocodile you see, the older it is. Same with lobsters, same with turtles. And I think there's something kind of unique to that. It's like, okay, you know, you see it visually, and you can just appreciate how long a life that they've lived. And there's something comforting about that. But sometimes our eyes deceive us, and so and our comfort deceives us. So that can be a challenge as well.
Oh yeah. Oh no, Moondog's got he's bursting my allegory on trees. He loves the trees, but trees live so long because they found a way to use their dead cells as armor and vacuum for transport. They are mostly already dead. That's fascinating. I don't mind when I'm proven wrong. That's really cool. So dead tree cells is armor. Yeah, I guess that's what the bark is and what the new layers are around. And by the way, trees don't get their mass from like sucking up nutrients in the ground. Trees get their mass from pulling carbon out of the air. I learned that not too long ago too. I thought that was pretty cool. It's like the reason that trees are big and like, you know, made of wood that's made of carbon is because they literally, while they're pulling the carbon dioxide out of the air, they release the oxygen and they use the carbon to build the tree up bigger and to make more leaves and sticks and branches and things. So it's like trees don't get bigger because they're like sucking up dirt, you know, and turning the dirt into wood. They get bigger because they take the carbon molecules out of the air and use their little photosynthesis, whatever the heck thing, to turn our stinky breath into rock solid tree armor. So that's pretty cool. I like that information, the Moondog. Thank you, sir.
And the largest living organism in the world is a group of aspen trees in Utah. Because they're all connected by the root systems, and so they all change colors at the same time. Aspen trees are very, very cool because the entire forest is connected to one living organism.
Like a node. That's neat, man.
Exactly.
Like a heart root or something.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
All,
yeah. It's like we've seen them in movies, right? It's like we gotta kill the heart.
Yeah. We gotta all these damn aspen are robbing all of our stores. We gotta kill the aspen heart.
Must destroy the heart of Walmart.
There's like a Jumanji thing in there about that like vine creature that goes around, and oh man, that movie gives me creeps.
Well, thank you for answering my question in regards to Bitcoin and traditional finance, brethren. I think we have a topic to talk about.
We do indeed have a topic. And by the way, we've been joined as well by Mr. Funkmaster Hex, who says, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening to you too, sir. I know you're up in the Great White North, just as snowy and cold as I am, if not more so. So it's good to see you, broski, as well as Mr. Dace has joined us. But I think I already shouted Dace out, and also Moondog as well. So we are done with the chats. We are done with all that. It's time to talk about some of the things that are going on. Oh, excuse me. And we've got a dude, Eddie, Eddie C2O, Richard Hart, do something. Yes, I'm sure that Richard Hart, he does watch the DGen Roundtable definitively, every single episode. Not really. I don't think he does, but I know that he shouted out one of our episodes. He shouted out when myself, Zenith, and SJ read the court transcript from the docket thing. He mentioned that on his Twitter. So I don't think he watches the DJ Roundtable. And if he did, he's probably not scrolling the comments. But you know, it's helpful, and I also wish that he would do something. But ooh, a fungal man. We're gonna get caught on all sorts of sidebars. That's good information, Mr. Moondog. I like that a lot. But I could go on about fungus and fungus among us all day long. But we're here to talk about Mr. Maduro. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the screen that I have that talks about a little bit of spice. So let's see. If I make this tab smaller, then it makes the letters bigger. So let's see. Is that acceptable? That's an acceptable size. I like it. We're going to make us a little bigger, though. So this is from Axios. So essentially, here's what happened. Somebody made a whole bunch of fucking money by predicting Maduro's capture. Fucking, I think it was a couple wallets, $630,000 gambling on Polymarket. But let's get into it. So we've got traders and speculative bettors earn huge profits on prediction markets because of the capture of Venezuela President Nicolás Maduro. All right, so this is some blah, blah, blah. Basically, traders on Polymarket appear to anticipate Maduro's capture late Friday night before President Trump announced it early Saturday morning. The market for whether or not Maduro would be out of power climbed shortly before 10 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, after hovering to low single digits for weeks, after sitting in the low single digits for weeks. And this is from the Wall Street Journal. So there was a newly created account. It invested 30 grand on Friday about Maduro's exit, and then after he went into custody, the same investor netted $460,000. So he basically created a brand new account, threw 30 grand in there, and this sounds like insider trading to me. But like honestly, if I was a government,
Pelosi bullshit.
Yep, I'm not gonna lie, dude. If I was a government, like if I was a janitor inside the Pentagon, and I heard them talking about this shit, I'd be like, liquidate everything. I'm going to Polymarket, you know, and I'd be doing the same fucking thing. So hopefully it's some poor schmuck or like some little secretary or something.
Will,
it's not.
I hope that it's someone that's in the military. Like I hope it's someone like in Delta Force. Right?
Oh
like,
my God.
Shout out to Delta Force. Shout out to the United States military. Like if you agree with what happened or not, and I've said this to so many people over the last 24 hours. Yep. I am so blown away by the ability for the U.S. military to not only have the intelligence, the people on the ground that I don't know how they get there, or how they fool people, the precision of the people actually acting the mission. Well, look, you've actually served in the military, so thank you again for your service. And you know this more than I, but I'm blown away every single time I see a mission like this. That is like, what like if you were to like ask Grok or ask an odds site, what are the odds that the United States could go into a country? Okay. By the way, our ships have been building up around their border for a while now, so it's not like they weren't expecting it, to some say, and have this type of precision, go in, get someone. By the way, take them alive, bring them back. No one killed, not one piece of equipment lost. I mean, that is unreal. And so congrats to the military, the intelligence community, and everybody involved in that, because I'm sorry, it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen, and I cannot wait for 15 years from now to see a movie of this.
I also, irrespective of whether you believe if it's just or if it's moral or if it's correct, like the fact that it was pulled off, pretty fucking amazing. It's like we can look at the blitzkrieg that the Germans did when they ran into France and like stormed everything and be like, wow, that's a really impressive feat. Whether it's correct or whether it's moral or not, it's still an impressive thing to do. And I will say from my own end of working in the military, knowing that everything goes wrong all the fucking time and that it's ran by basically, you know, Barney kids. Like, to be fair, this is special forces. It's not, you know, general population like what I was, some fucking sergeant working on a flight line somewhere. But like, it is pretty damn impressive, like all the stuff that they said happened. And, you know, I will say that they definitely had their combat camera guys ready to snap some sexy shots of all the Delta Force guys and of all the of like Maduro, and the memes have been fantastic. And, you know, whether you think it's correct or just or not, which I suppose I should save my opinion for later, like, is a pretty impressive thing. So
and back to the Polymarket, I do hope that it was someone like that, right? And Moondog says this. I like this thought. Probably was someone, an analyst somewhere. That could possibly be, but I do hope that it wasn't like a politician, right? I hope that it was someone that doesn't get paid enough for what they do, and they were able to capitalize their entire life savings on this one bet. So shout out to that. But it does raise another question: like, does Polymarket in these odd sites, will people start to look at them more in order to predict what's going to happen, or to protect yourself against something that might happen? Because it's pretty crazy. I have an X post pulled up here on this exact same topics that I already bookmarked.
Oh my God.
Right? Will and I had the same topic bookmarked.
What if
knowing it?
What if it was Maduro and he's like making his own retirement account by it's kind of like, how people do like shorts and then take out insurance or whatever, and like they'll like hedge their bets and stuff in case they're covered on both sides. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, it's funny, Will, because there's a conspiracy theory going around that Maduro was in on his capture. Like, how do you get into somewhere like that without? Why was the missile defense system not active in Venezuela? That's very, very odd to me. Like, again, more and more ships from the United States are coming around your country, and you're just going to turn off your missile defense system. So that tells me one of two things. And I don't really think Maduro would have allowed himself to be caught if he had a chance. So I don't think it was him. But I have seen those theories. Like, this was part of the agreement, but there's no agreement, but there was an agreement, type of thing. And then he gets out and he moves somewhere. He's dead. He gets moved. Anyway, I think personally that not everyone was a fan of Maduro, and they're worried about if he gets taken out of power. We already know many of the military were not didn't want to follow the order of him getting elected, which everyone knew was false. But they were threatened that them and their families might end up in jail if they didn't follow through. So we already know there was some people that were wanted to rise up against the regime. And so me personally, I do look at the missile defense system and say, wow, that is unique. And that is a question of like, how would this become a thing? Now there's another scenario, right? We know that there are people on the ground. We know that they somehow were able to shut down the certain blocks from an electricity standpoint. And so maybe they were just like, okay, well, missile defense system doesn't work if there's no electricity. But then it's like, okay, they have to have backup systems, right? So there's so many questions that I really want an answer to. I wish I was a fly on the wall.
Oh man, there's a lot of juicy potential in this whole thing, and like we're only covering the crypto scandal of it right now. There's other things that go into it as well. Like, you could look at the oil, you could look at what did the military do, you can look at like how did he get elected. There's even people that are putting memes all over Instagram. It's like, what's going to come next is they're going to put in some like little puppet person that's going to be from like some other country, and like based on like kind of like oh shoot, what was it? The Mexican president chick. There was like 37 people assassinated in order for her to become the president or whatever. Like, I'm curious to see who becomes the next president, if it's going to be some U.S. propped up, some U.S. propped candidate, or if it's going to be like a person put in by the people. Like, what's going to go on with it? Like, we've already got China calling for the release. Like, China's been saying like, hey, you need to release Maduro. You can't be doing this. Sets a bad precedent. Blah 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 blah. Right? Like,
why do you think
a whole
China's
bunch of shit?
that?
Oh, because they were because people were There's speculation that the reason that Maduro was swiped like this was because he was selling oil for yuan, the Chinese yuan. Like, that was the currency that he was trading, much like how Gaddafi wanted to create the African dinar, and how Saddam Hussein was selling oil for euros, or whatever the currency was that was not the petrodollar. So it's like China definitely benefits very, very heavily from Venezuela selling oil in the yuans.
there's actually something even more important from a Chinese standpoint. I think this is also one of the reasons that I think there's many reasons why this happened. I think there's always a multitude of factors. But one is that China's largest, Venezuela's largest purchaser of oil is China. And China buys a very, very, very large percentage of the oil that they need through Venezuela and through Iran, right? Like there's a tri connection there. And so not only does this help the United States from an oil standpoint, and probably the EU, because they'll probably sell the EU oil cheaper too. And it's going to help the Venezuelan people, hopefully, right? Like I have a lot, I lived in Miami for 6 years, right? Like I know a lot of Venezuelans. My good friends engaged to a Venezuelan, and her family still lives in Venezuela. Her mom actually lived so close that she could see the missiles striking the places where they were hitting. She was literally seeing it, watching it.
That's fucking nuts, man.
Woke her up in the middle of the night. So yeah, I have a pretty good sense of what the Venezuelan people are feeling and thinking. And first, it's excitement. And so, like, I'm happy for all the Venezuelans that see hope, right? Potential hope that Maduro's out, right? That's good. However, when Chavez was gone, it's like, okay, there's hope, but it's like he just put Maduro into, so it's one boss to another. And Moondog exactly here. Yes, there's more than one boss, right? And so what's going to happen next? Are they going to make a deal to get rid of the rest of the people that were involved? Because if they don't, then we're back to square one. I agree there. So that's the question, right? Like, what's the plan to get people into power? Now, if you get even people into power that you want and that are good, if the military isn't behind them and there are other cartel members that could, regain power, then again, you're looking at another, possibility for a failed state. The Venezuelan people deserve a lot. They deserve incredible wealth because they are sitting on a gold mine. They have more gold in Venezuela than the entire continent of Africa. They have more oil than Saudi Arabia. They should be a wealthy nation, and the people should prosper. And I hope that happens from this. But again, we're far from that. Like, what's the next situation? We are, the opposition, right? Our Nobel Peace Prize winner. Do you know who that was, Will?
I do not recall off the top of my head.
It was the opposition leader in Venezuela, Maria Machado. So she was the one, so this is so weird, but she was the one that won the election. However, she was the VP. She wasn't even allowed to run as president because they were so afraid of her winning. So she ran as the VP, and they still ran away with the election. It was stolen, as we all know. And then she escaped to overseas and has been in hiding for the last 11 months, apparently. But the United States is worried that her, what would be regime, doesn't have the backing of the military, right? And look, this is all hearsay. Don't know if any of this is true. Just throwing out things that people are talking about. And so they're worried that if they would just put her into power, she wouldn't be able to control the country, and it would just get back to the cartels running everything, right? So it's like, what if you're going to go and do this for drug purposes, then what is your long-term solution if you actually want Venezuela to prosper? Then you need to go one step further, right? You do need to ensure that infrastructure is recreated. You need to make sure that the other people that are part of the high echelon of the cartel are either moved out or put in jail or whatever the case may be. Take severance packages to other countries. Like there has to be a lot that gets put into place if you want this to be a successful operation. And then, in my opinion, you should hold new elections because, like, we know the election before was fraudulent. So you need to get the country to a place where it can function properly. And then you should hold elections for the people to truly decide who should run the country. That's just partially my opinion, and also partially what I'm just hearing from multiple sources. But there's a lot that we just don't know what's going to happen, and there's a lot that is up in the air right now.
Man, I'm reading through an AI summary of like the stuff that's happened Spain's condemned the U.S. China's demanded the release. The Pope has called for Venezuela's independence. Man, all sorts of Cubans are there's a whole bunch of anxiety in Cuba, specifically among the leaders. They're calling it state terrorism. A bunch of protests and political debates, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I was reading earlier. You were saying that the lady who was his vice president is the person who stepped in now.
No. During the election, the person that was running against him.
Okay.
That vice president won the Nobel Peace Prize. Yes, his current vice president, who's just a puppet, she is currently sworn as president. But yeah, it's kind of a crazy situation, but it hurts China, right? This hurts China huge because this is, again, a lot of where their oil comes from, and that it's being sold outside of US dollars. Sure, that maybe hurts a little bit the United States, but the bigger thing that hurts China is not being able to now get oil at a very, very, very cheap cost, that they need to be a powerhouse, because look how big their country is, how many people they have. If they want to mobilize their military, to take over Taiwan, for example, what do they need? They need petrol. They need oil. They need fuel. And this is a huge hit to them. And, it's like, okay, well, China, Russia, that maybe, if Russia maybe creates an agreement with Ukraine, maybe they can get Russia oil, but they have plenty of oil, right? Like, but this hurts Russia through hurting China, and it hurts China through, a war on oil. So this is interesting. And Angry Twinkies says another point. It also sends a global message, right?
Oh yeah.
FAFO. Fuck around and find out.
Yep. Good to see you, Twinkie. What's up, broski? Yeah, it definitely does send a very clear message and sets an interesting precedent, like,
does it?
How many countries can do what was the other question? How many countries do you think could have pulled that off in terms of capabilities? I don't think there's a whole bunch of other ones that could do it up.
A big goose egg, in my opinion.
Yeah, a big goose egg. Moondog says the only one else who could do it would be Israel, but that would just basically be getting us to do it for them. And it's like, yeah, that's probably what would happen as well. And I know that there was.
I think he's right. Israel's intelligence is one of the best in the world. I don't know if they have the hardware and the personnel.
Nah, I don't think so.
They have the intelligence, but you need three things. You need three things to pull this off. You need the intelligence community, right? You need the boots on the ground. You need the people that are inside, right, that are already there creating this. You need the military capabilities of, like, the planes, the helicopters, everything that's cutting edge, and you need the training and the personnel. I think they might have two out of three of those. I don't think they have 3 out of 3.
Yep. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I do think that Israel uses the United States as its military arm a whole lot, like in regard to many things.
Well, who doesn't?
Yeah, it's like the U.S. is basically like the guns for hire.
We've been the EU's personal bodyguard since World War II.
Oh yeah,
World War I. I guess they World War II.
Yep,
for sure, World War II. Like, and that was one of the things that our current president was upset about. It's like, EU, put some money into your own personal defense. Don't bank on us doing a few all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, and we've got another thought from Mr. Moondog here. Also, the message: the Americas will be willing to use bunker busters and public exfiltration, and not just be handcuffed to shadow tools, as it has grown reliant on regime change in the last year. So yeah, it's like, hey, we're not just gonna hide in the shadows. We'll do it fucking public, and we'll make a big old fucking scene.
But again, I think that's back to Mr. Angry Twinkie's point of, like, it sends a global message.
Yeah,
like, we are the powerhouse. There is no one that can do what we do, and so if you agree with us or not, whoever's in power, you're gonna have to follow.
Gonna have to deal with it. Yeah. So it is a big giant point of, like, pride for America to be like, yeah, we do have the best military, we do have the biggest tech, we can't just step in and swing our dicks around. Is this hubris going to be long lasting? I don't fucking know. Or hubris might be the wrong word. Is this capability going to be long lasting? Who the fuck knows? But hey, it happened, and so maybe you can be the next janitor to take his life savings and turn it into some some winning lottery tickets. So I do think that this stuff is funny, and because it's such a small number, I'm inclined to believe that it's an operator, or that it's an analyst, or that it's some janitor somewhere. I don't think it's a politician anywhere, because it would have been a bigger number, in my humble opinion. But I hope that whoever made these winnings,
bigger number, it swings the percentage, right? The Polymarket percentage probably a lot more, and there is this like fine line of betting enough that you still get the odds that you want, and also maybe not being seen or cared about as much. Like if you drop $1 million bet, that narrows down how many people can make that bet by a lot, right? And so if you want to fly under the radar, then maybe a $35,000 bet or a $30,000 bet's safer. But I do agree with you. I do think it's someone that is more of an insider, an insider for sure, but more of like a lower level, not a high level.
Yep. And one of the things that it says, there's been noteworthy prediction market swings over political battles all the fucking time. So the idea that Maduro's capture was of interest to bettors is not new. So it's like this could happen to anyone. So maybe it was a lucky dude, but like the thing to pay attention to is that the timing is certainly surprising. So whether it was someone with insider knowledge, or whether it was a lucky gambler who decided to throw 30 grand on some pretty crazy things, I like to think in the back of my mind that it was just some poor little Joe Schmo schmuck everyday guy who made his retirement or her retirement, and they're better off. And I wish them well, whoever they are, unless they're a politician or someone who does this reoccurringly. And then, well, hey, I guess it's Polymarket. It's all free, baby. It's not like it's the
Where's
skunk markets.
Where's Deb Donnie? We need a bot. We need a bot that tells us when there is a bet put on Polymarket that is way out of the realm of a normal bet. Like, give me a bot that just give me alert. Okay, this bet is very suspicious. All right, I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna make the same bet, even though if I'm betting $20 instead of 30 grand. I bet someone can write a program that tells you when there's an anomaly in the Polymarket betting. Someone,
hell yeah, man,
in our community could probably do it, I'm sure.
I'd be kick ass. The problem is too many people use this bot and then it loses its edge. But I'd be willing to throw some nickels and dimes at it. On the subject of throwing nickels and dimes at stuff, I have a slight tale of victory. I got a pretty fucking pretty awesome bonus for doing the work that I do, and I had quite a bit of extra investing cash laying around, and then the price of Hex dropped to like just about 20% of a penny, and I was like, ooh, that's real fucking nice. And so I increased my like entire portfolio size by about 15% over the my liquid portfolio, I should say, because I've got a massive amount staked. No, I haven't Quattro Cinco'd any of it. I haven't done Quattro Cinco stuff since I lost having steady work and things. But yeah, I was able to increase my like entire portfolio coin number by 15%. So not the dollar value, but like the number of tokens that I had is like
all that matters.
15%. That's fucking crazy, man. So I was quite pleased with that. And it was probably foolish, but I was like, I put this amount of money in this very specific place for this very reason, and then this bonus thing comes in. It's like, I can do that same ratio. And then I looked in it because I hadn't checked the actual account in a long time, and it was like, holy fuck, that would buy me this much, holy shit. And so I fucking locked in some great prices, or some cheap coins at low prices. So I was quite pleased with that, and hopefully
congrats.
I'm not a fool. I guess we'll find out if it was a good decision or if it was a bad one. But either way, I feel good about it. So we'll see.
Look, if you bought it 2/10 of a cent, it's almost 3/10 of a cent now. So you're up like.
Oh, really?
a decent amount on that.
Oh no, I saw it was that price, and then by the time that I got my money into it, it was a little bit high. I think it was at like 25. So like I'm sitting on maybe a 1/6 increase, but even still, it's not nothing.
10%.
It ain't nothing. So it's like, oh, it's so cool to see the number.
But hey, buying a bottom, bro, feels good.
Oh yeah, it feels real good. So hopefully this is the last bottom that I buy.
I heard that. Well, I hope it's not the last bottom I buy. I hope it's the last bottom I buy this cycle.
That's true. That's true. I hope that I don't have to.
I want to buy many more bottoms. I just don't want to buy many more bottoms this cycle.
Yeah, it's like I'm a little bit tired of buying bottoms for now. It's like I'll buy some bottoms later after I've made some wins. It's like,
yeah,
golly.
So I feel similarly. So in the next week, I will be getting the largest bonus that I've ever earned from a job. And
well, for your sake, I hope the price of your coins fall right before that happens. That way you can get some good numbers too, amigo.
I think everything's well priced right now. So
yeah,
like even
don't send it lower. Don't send it lower.
Moondog has a good point. No, Moondog has a good point. I hope it's the lowest bottom, not the last.
Ooh, that's a good phrasing. I like that. I'm gonna write that down.
Well, obviously it won't be the lowest bottom, right? Because Hex launched at like many zeros. But yes, the lowest bottom of this cycle. I like that. No, that's a really good statement.
Yeah.
And I just want to also let Moondog know I was joking. I'm not really into betting markets. I'd rather more long term rather than just throwing money at something and hoping it happens.
I like his explanation though. For the folks at home who had heard, like, this is why you don't make bots that do the exact thing that Brendan was talking about, right? So there is like a logical reason why you wouldn't want to find and chase after obscure bets, because it's too much traps for diminished return. Someone could make money making obscure bets and feeding off bots volume of retail. It's basically just a rug with extra steps. So
here's the thing: it's not that it's a bad idea; it's that we're already late. Someone's already done it. And so if you're not early enough, then there's no point in doing it. The first person that ever made that, I bet has made a ton of money off of it because I know they exist. They have to exist.
Yep. But since we thought of it and we're pretty normal, like we're it's too late. The edge is already gone.
Where's the gigabrains that thought about this a year ago before Polymarket blew up? Right? Like,
yep, exactly. Exactly.
Well,
that was all that I. That was all that I really wanted to cover tonight. You were talking about real degen.
I was just saying the people that are real degens created those bots a year ago.
Ah, yes. There's a whole bunch of wonderful degens in our little world.
Will, I do want to just say in general, like,
sure.
What are your thoughts from how does this event affect the United States economy in 2026 moving forward? Like, is this a like? I don't care about if you think it's good, if you think that we should have done it or should have not done it. I'm only asking, what is the outcome for the United States markets and for our economy? Is it a net positive for the crypto market in 2026? Is it a net negative crypto market 2026? Like, how does it affect what we care about? I guess is my question.
Well, I wish that I knew how to quantify all of the things that are taken into judgment and valuation by others when it comes to stuff like this. There's a whole bunch of different ways that people could interpret it. You could look at it like, oh, the US is like, they're starting to get violent, so maybe they feel desperate that they're losing control over things. You could look at it like, we are maintaining good order and discipline in regarding something that we're important, and so therefore we're still in like major amounts of power and we're in control and you can trust us and everything's good. You could look at it as like, oh, these guys are just the lapdog of another country that like like a president of one country spoke out against the type of people in another country, and so that other country got this, big, strong, burly bully to go and bully some people. There's a whole bunch of different ways that people can interpret it, but I will say that, like, if you just look at the facts, like, there was a big hammer smackdown going on, so it's like, hey, still the boss, still the global world's hammer swinger. So don't be a nail, and if you want to take over, you got to do better than us or something like that. So as far as gas prices go, Venezuela has like the most oil reserves over anyone else in the entire world, is my understanding. So you might see some lower gas prices. Now, is that just? Is that good? Is that incorrect? Who the fuck knows? But I could see oil prices and energy prices going down for the United States and its allies. I can also see this having an effect on other countries thinking about going off of the petrodollar versus staying on it. So that could potentially reinforce the dollar. And if it reinforces the dollar while, like, at the same time we get a new Fed chairman and we start doing quantitative easing, or the money printing, then it's like this could have compounding effects, and we could see number go up quite substantially. I don't really know all of the things that go into it, but those are just some of the things that pass through my head. What about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so you said outside of, look, this is not me agreeing with what happened or disagreeing with what happened, right? This is just what could potentially happen as an outcome for the economy of the United States, right? Like, this is just a middle of the road take. One, you said that, so first of all, gas prices are the lowest they've been in 5 years, even before this happened. Gas prices, we talked about this, like 2 weeks ago, Will? It's like, why are gas prices recently just gone way down? So one, like, they've already been down. So imagine going even lower. Imagine getting gas under $2 on average around the country. Not only does that help the individual consumer, so they have money to spend elsewhere, but it actually lowers the cost of products in general, right? Like, it lowers inflationary pressures because everything that is made takes oil, right? Like transportation, even if it doesn't take it to create it, right? It takes it to move it. And so every item in the entire country could potentially become cheaper, easier to move, and therefore allow Americans to have more money to spend. When Americans have more money to spend, they have more money to invest. When you have more money to invest, the more people investing, number goes up, right? So yes, that could have a positive effect, a large positive effect on the economic markets. Additionally, it hurts China, who, at least as far as we know, isn't very heavily invested in cryptocurrencies. And so that does not, have a like, okay, if you said it hurts someone, right? So that's going to negatively affect their economy and they buy crypto, but they don't, right? They're not allowed to. So you have to look at both sides. So, okay, it helps the general world that is allowed to buy crypto. So, okay, that's potentially a good thing. In addition to it, it's just, this could be a long-term benefit for the United States from an oil standpoint. Because of course, no matter who gets into power is going to be more likely to create good deals with the United States and their allies to maybe get oil at a discount. You can call it theft, you can call it whatever you want, but the United States is going to get theirs for freeing the people, that, or however you want to phrase it. So I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm not condemning. I'm not whatever. I'm just saying the reality of the situation. And the reality is the United States is going to benefit from an oil standpoint, and it's going to make them much richer. Now, 300 billion barrels. By the way, the reserves in Venezuela are audited. Like, those are there. It's the largest reserve of oil in the entire world. They have 300 billion barrels. At today's price, or yesterday's price when I looked it up, that was $17 trillion worth of oil that they've already taken out of the ground and are sitting on. What if they had infrastructure that could, harvest oil better than they're currently doing it? Because they're not doing it very well currently. And so not only are you talking about the reserves that they currently have, but you're talking about now increasing the amount of oil that they're able to sell every year because they have better infrastructure. How long that's going to take to get up and running, I don't know. But I don't think that this was only philanthropy. I don't think this was just a philanthropic operation to free the people of Venezuela and to arrest Maduro, which, by the way, I think are fantastic things. I think it's a benefit of what's happened. I just don't know if that was the main reason why it happened. And I really love the people of Venezuela. This is going to sound super gringo, but I love arepas. They're absolutely delicious, and they're always gluten-free, and so I appreciate that. And yeah, I think that this is another catalyst for a potential up 2026.
I think one of the reasons they have so much oil and why they don't pull it out. I don't remember one of my oil buddies talking about this is because they have heavy sour crude.
Yes, it's
which
called
is
extra crude.
Yep. Yeah, which means for those of you guys that aren't familiar with oil, it like when you pull it out of the ground, it's a sticky, gloppy mess. You put it in a pipe, it doesn't want to flow. So like they're pulling out like not gum, but like essentially like tar and stuff. Like in the United States, we pull out light sweet oil. That's what comes out of the ground, and so it's super easy to move through through the oil pipes and to the refineries down in Texas. Like they pull oil out of like Western Texas. They put it in a pipe. They send it somewhere. It gets there fucking super duper easy. With heavy crude, you have to transport it. You have to put it in barrels, put it on a truck, get it somewhere, get it out of the barrels, run it through the refineries, and it's just this whole big sticky gunky mucky process. So they do have a shit ton of like very low quality, hard to deal with oil. So it's like if they like what you're talking about with building up their refining system, building up their logistics, building up their infrastructure, if they can take care of all of that, then holy smokes-eolies, there's going to be a new oil baron, an energy baron in the world, as long as we are still using oil, if that's something that happens. So I was looking that up on Wikipedia because I remember shout out to not Agent J, but a different friend of mine, Sting of Stang J, cool, awesome guy. He's an oil guy over here in Texas. But he was describing to me like what Venezuela pulls out versus what the United States pulls out and stuff. So there's a little bit of inside baseball for the folks at home over there.
Yes, and you're right. I think, and that's what I mentioned. Like they have to build new infrastructure. They have to get the newest technology to be able to make this efficient, right? Like, are you going to make money if your processes are efficient? Look how rich Saudi Arabia is, and Venezuela is a small country, has more oil underneath their land than Saudi Arabia. So it's pretty insane what they're sitting on. And even if the Venezuelan people only get 10%, okay, I'm just throwing a random number out there. Even if they only get 10% of the wealth from their possibility is there, they'll be a super prosperous nation. So yeah, the United States and Venezuela and allies can all benefit from what's happened here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Venezuela also produces heavy crude oil, but it's not heavy sour. So I don't know what that means, but and the United States produces light crude. So but yeah, if Venezuela,
they have a ton of gold that they're sitting on. It's not much.
Oh yeah.
And
lots
precious metals. They're one of the largest areas, small areas, with the biggest deposit of precious minerals.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's
rare
earth
minerals, I believe they call them now.
They got so much opportunity down there, so much cool stuff. So I wish the best for the Venezuelans, and I hope that I hope that the majority, or at least a big fraction of a big percentage of the money that's going to be pulled out of the ground goes to the people there. I really do. Mm-hmm. And Moondog reminds us that Texas has facilities to refine that low crude. There was some buildup for shale, but all of the old infrastructure is still there. So yeah, this is they're
just going to move that infrastructure to there. And let's not forget, like we built the infrastructure to refine their oil 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then we've been getting nothing from that deal for a long time.
Yep. So I hope this benefits everybody, America, Venezuela, and everybody that's our friends and allies. And most importantly, my bags, me first, then everyone else. So that's what I think about all this. Brendan, any final thoughts on this or anything else that you would like to cover?
My final thought is a comment from Eddie C2O. We have over 1 million marketing devices, only tens of thousands went out. Yes, only tens of thousands went out. But if you send devices out and your way to send them out isn't actually having an effect on the market, that you have to find a better way to get them into the people's hands that are going to put money into the market. It's actually much more challenging of a situation than it looks like. So I hear you. And I know they hear you too. And we're praying for our bags.
Yep. And anyone who has ever worked shipping and receiving or any sort of logistics, You know the nightmare that is logistics. And for those of you who haven't, I suggest you go and open an Etsy store right now and just try and sell 10,000 thumbtacks, each individually packaged. And just go on and set yourself up a UPS World Ship account and see just how fun and awesome it is. And go buy boxes from Uline and print out labels and doing all this stuff and getting your address books all sorted and having your QuickBooks set up for like. There's a fuck ton of shit that goes into it. So if it's not producing results, which is people are buying, then it's like you got to figure new things out. And by the way, I was going to keep this a secret for a little bit longer, but there's 12 of you guys watching on YouTube right now. And there's 13 of you guys, or 13 people at some point have watched on Twitter. And I just want to say that I have some of those tablets being shipped to me, and I'll be doing giveaways here on the channel, so stick around and we'll be doing some giveaways for some of those tablets. You guys will be able to take some home, and some of them got magnets on them, some of them do not, but I've bought quite a few of them because you can buy them at DeFiDoodles.com, I think, or something like that. I know that Richard Hart and RG3 shouted out that link at some point, so I bought a whole bunch of them. And they're showing up at the address where I hang out over in Texas. So whenever I make my way back to Texas, I'll be able to get you guys some of these fancy schmancy little devices. So it'll be fun, it'll be cool, it'll be awesome, and I look forward to it. And that is all that I have. I'm scrolling through the headlines that I saved earlier. We've got a whole bunch of cool things. So the Telegram has finally launched a wallet for the United States, so that's pretty cool. We can now do Telegram wallets in the United States. I use Telegram all the time, so I thought that was pretty interesting. We've got JP Morgan freezing the accounts of 2 stablecoin startups over sanctions concerns. That's pretty fun. China's starting to pay interest on holding digital yuans, and that's from their central bank. And I think that's
CBDC. They are only paying you interest because they want to track everything that you own and they want to be able to control all that you have.
Yep. Oh,
just like centralized exchanges, for the record.
Yes. One more thing. On December 31st, the Federal Reserve pumped $31 billion into the U.S. banking system through overnight repos. I don't think that we covered that earlier, but hey, that's the largest liquidity injection since COVID and surpasses even the peak of the dot-com bubble. So, some fancy schmancy little information over there. And I think, and the final thing that I wanted to say is that strategic ETH reserve entities and ETF reserves hold over 10% of the total Ethereum supply. So we'll close off with that. As far as concerning me anyways, do you have anything you want to say before we wiggle our way on out of here?
I would like to say Happy New Year to you. It's still Christmas for a couple more days, so Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to all the people out there. And I just want to tell you I love you, brother.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I love you too, broski. I love you, Brendan. I love all the folks at the DGen Roundtable, whether you guys are watching us live, watching us on the replay. I especially love Mr. Moonmutt, who says, hello to my DGen friends. Let's go 2026. Absolutely right. Hell yeah, Moonmutt. It's been a while since I've seen you in the chats, good sir. At least a week or so. So it's good news. This is a good real life friend of mine. So glad to see you in here, broski. Well, Mr. Brendan, let's go ahead and start wrapping up the show then. Where can the folks find you, and what have you got going on in the near future, amigo?
I got nothing, man. Just start slaving away back to the 9 to 5 tomorrow, which I'm excited about. And it always sucks coming back off a bit of a long break, but blessed to have a good job. Blessed to be able to work. And other than that, find me on X, find me in our Telegram, and find me at the next DGen Roundtable meetup.
Ooh. Yeah, I guess we did have a little unofficial one in Miami not too long ago.
We're gonna have one in 2026, Will. I promise everybody.
Okay. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fucking good. A reminder for all the folks at home to join the DGen Roundtable community by hopping on over into the Telegram, going to t.me/DRT join now. We have that right there in the live chats. And I did not put it in the show description for some fucking reason. I should have done that. But that's what we got going on. As far as for me, you guys can find me in all my socials at will.pls.fyi. that's what I have going on. I'm up in New Hampshire for I don't know how long, but hopefully not too long, because I need to go make money at some point. And then we are covering our next book for book club is going to be $100 Million Models by Alex Hormozi. I don't know if we're doing that this Friday or the following Friday. I have to get with Zenith on that. That's the book that he wanted us to cover. So we're covering the third book in the Alex Hormozi trilogy. We've got $100 million offers, $100 million sales? I don't know. And then $100 million models. So the final book in the Alex Hormozi trilogy. Other than that, you guys can catch us here live every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. I know we were not live this last Friday. We didn't have a book, or I think Zenith was. It doesn't matter why, but we weren't. But we will be for the next Friday. So come check us out. And before we go, we got one final comment from Mr. Moondog. All this oil talk, and you forgot USDT, the oil settlement rail topic. Yes. So that was an article, wasn't it? I suppose I will touch on that for just one cunt hair of time. But we've got this is from Crypto News. Over years of aggressive U.S. sanctions on the country, an economist says that 80% of Venezuela's oil trade has been collected in USDT as a fast and secure alternative, bypassing American sanctions. Oh, that's fascinating.
Yep.
So they were selling it for
So they can
yuans
sell
and they were selling it for USDT.
China and Iran. Yep.
Yep. Oh man, super duper clever. Look at them. Look at you guys. You little silly gooses. So most excellent. So yes, that's a good reminder, Mr. Moondog. And that's all I got. That's what we got for the DGen Roundtable. You guys can find us here every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, starting live 8 p.m. Eastern. We usually go for about 2 hours. Today, we're going a little bit shorter, and that's just fine. And that's all that I've got. And now it's time to read the end of show copywriting. I want to thank you all for spending your valuable time with us here on the DGen Roundtable. As Agent J often says, we know that time is your most valuable asset, and we appreciate you spending each and every one of those time units right here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Will Stevenson, but more importantly, you have been watching the DGen Roundtable. I'm the producer tonight, so I got to get that trigger finger ready because it's time to remind all the folks at home to remember to DGen responsibly. Oh, well, that is obnoxious because it did not end the stream when I clicked on the end stream button.
Back on. Joke's on you, everybody.
We're back, baby. Okay, so I'm clicking the end stream. I think that the StreamYard has done something different. They've got outro.